All right, welcome back to the channel. I'm joined today by a recent top 8. Again, this guy who just won RBET from what, season 3, RBET 1, OG. And Stengo's here as well because all three of us decided to play Dragon Turbo for the recent RBET. And Stengo and I weren't able to continue in the tournament. I finished at day 1, I was 4-2. Stengo was like 2-1 or 3-1 and then had to leave. But OG here was able to go pretty far and make it to top 8 with a 7-1 record in Swiss. Basically, we all played the same deck. This is Dragon Turbo, right? Like, this isn't really special anymore in terms of like the deck build, the deck list. I think that this is literally taken the ride from like Ghost Rider, and then with maybe one change, like there's no clear Vice Dragon in the side deck, and he doesn't even side that card all the time. But tell us your experience playing this deck so far, OG, because this is like, I think your second time ever playing in a tournament with this deck.
Right. So I'm relatively new to the deck, and I played it once in tournament. I think I went at the start of my editing journey. I was just bouncing around between decks. I was like, oh, let me try out as Dragon Turbo. I went like 3-2. I remember one notable match I had against like Sunny. I thought he rage quit, and I met him in Richmond, and then he clarified, no, I didn't rage quit. I was like, oh, okay, sure. But yeah, so I took it again, and we're all like, oh, let's just play Dragon Turbo. It's the year of the dragon. Why not?
Yeah. So you're
And
Chinese and you celebrate, every year, right? Gary, so we've been friends for over 10 years. Gary's Chinese, and Chinese New Year comes around and he always asks for a haircut, right? Like, this is true, right, Gary? Like, I'm not crazy.
this is true.
So every year I cut Gary's hair for Chinese New Year, and then he goes, celebrates with his family and friends and stuff like that. And every year while he's in the chair, I always say, what year is it now? Because last year he was like, oh, it's the year of the rabbit. He always tells me like year of the monkey, year of the rat. Whatever the year is, Gary lets me know while he's in my chair every February, it's the year of whatever. This year he was like, it is the year of the dragon. I was like, wait, is it really? And he's like, yeah, it's the year of the dragon. And I was like, oh man, we should probably like do something in Yu-Gi-Oh with the year of the dragon. Like, why don't we play dragon decks and stuff like that at some point during the year? So yeah, that's kind of like the way this first started, because at first, like, OG is known to be a Value Turbo player. All of your tops prior to this were Value Turbo, correct?
Correct.
Right, and you won the RBET a couple weeks ago, honestly, because this RBET that just happened this weekend of what, March 23rd, 24th. This RBET is literally a couple weeks after the last one, and you won the
Yeah.
last one. You almost had a chance to go back to back. You would have been the first person to ever go back to back. That would have been insane, but you did make top 8. So this is
Yeah.
the build.
Just real quick, like it took a winner to beat a winner. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, Cold Madness, who's who you lost to in top 8, and
Yep.
he definitely did win the tournament, which always, like, for me, when I get eliminated by the person who ends up winning the tournament, I don't feel as bad, because it's like, okay, at least the guy who beat me didn't immediately just go on to lose or something like that, right? So that always feels good. But how do you feel about the deck's power level now that you've played it? Because when you said you played Dragon Turbo back when you first started Edison a while back, right? But that list that you were playing back then is not the new and improved refined list here that has been popularized by Ghost Rider. So the difference between the feeling of like the old list and the new list, how do you feel about the power level of the deck now?
I always felt that Dragon Turbo was like really strong back then, but it just every time I would like play it, it didn't feel that strong. I felt like I was just drawing like dead, even more dead than currently perceived.
Yeah.
And now it's like it's refined to the point of like, damn, this deck is actually just kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's very scary. I think that this deck is really bad for Edison format. I've been vocalizing that in every tier list that I've ever done, basically on this channel. I always talk about Dragon Turbo. Decks like this are the end of the format, right? Like, if this deck were to become extremely popular, right? Like, if hundreds of people just decided that they wanted to start playing this deck, because most of the tournaments are, around 100 people or whatever. And if you think about formats that are literally one deck or two decks, imagine like Edison format. Now, this will never happen, right? Because that's like the super competitive, crazy world where that could happen. But Edison has so many different decks that you can play, and in theory, all of them can win. They can all top or whatever. But in terms of like from a competitive standpoint, modern players will look at Edison format, and this is the deck that they will want to play. Like, this is the exact kind of deck that a person coming from modern Yu-Gi-Oh would see. It doesn't really play traps for real, right? And that's the first thing. And it's trying to do something super unfair turn one, and then just like make it where your opponent can't do anything, and you invalidate them. That's the
Yeah.
intent of this deck. It does not feel good to play against this deck. It also kind of feels weird to play with it, I will say. Like, this was my first tournament really playing this deck and like seeing how it operates and everything. And a lot of like when I would win with it, it just felt like, all right, like my opponent couldn't do anything. Like, I played 10-foot round 1. I 2-0'd him. My like 10-foot's a pretty decent player, but like it was not difficult at all. It just felt like, what can he do? Like, and a lot of times when you win with this deck, it just feels like, what could they have done, right? Like they have to
Yeah.
get super lucky.
Yeah, I've never had a deck where I was like, I don't care if I'm going first or second. Like,
Yeah, that's another thing.
this deck makes me feel like that, and I don't like that feeling.
Yeah, it's pretty toxic, but it's a very good deck. It is like the definition of a modern Yu-Gi-Oh deck, basically in Edison format. So, anyways, this is the deck. We're gonna move to some replays real quick. Let's go to, I think this is the first one. So this is round one. This is actually against a friend of ours, Sushant, Televisual. He top 8'd with you in the RBET that you won, and he's playing Diva Hero. Me and you both played him in this tournament. So it was really unfortunate for him that not only did he have to play two people that he actually like knows in real life, but we both happen to just be playing Dragon Turbo this weekend. Like all three of us. Me, Stango, and Gary are all playing Dragon Turbo this weekend. This is the House of the Dragon, right? We call ourselves the House. Like that's the name of our group chat for years. So we're all playing, you know, Dragon Turbo, and the House of the Dragon happened to just come down on poor Sushant here, who's just like trying to duel. Like this guy's just trying to duel. But let's see how this game, this fucking, I didn't actually see this, so I'm curious to know like what.
It's so funny because we wanted to play each other for the finals of the last RBT. Yeah. Oh, he couldn't make it there. I was like, damn. Well, and then we played each other round one. I was like, are you serious? Out of 200 people, we met up, and now the house can start calling me Damon Targaryen.
Yeah, because your name is actually Damon on fucking Dueling Book, so it's kind of hilarious that, you know. But yeah, it looks like this game, he drew Triple Diva, which is like...
Triple Diva Gilman, yes.
Yeah.
Like, he breaks real hard, really hard.
Like yeah, this hand is awful.
Yes. This is probably worse than all the hands that Kara has ever told me about. Like, I'm sorry.
So, I want to call this out real quick, because some people don't know this. I didn't know this. Vortex Trooper has to destroy this into the graveyard, so he summoned Dark in here to send it to the graveyard so it doesn't get its effect. Just like a little thing that some people might not know. In this channel, I don't expect everybody who watches the YouTube channel to be like a super expert on everything. So there's one of the ways that you can kind of like beat this deck, because honestly there needs to be a video of like how to beat Dragon Turbo. And,
at this point.
And part of it is like stuff like this, like little minor things like that, like just not letting Vortex Trooper resolve.
Very small incremental stops to them drawing cards.
Yes, because every one card it draws, it could be the end of the game.
Yo, it's actually funny because I was playing against somebody, I forget exactly what deck they were playing, but they killed my Vortex Trooper face down with DD Warrior Lady. And I was just like, oh, I don't get my draw. But then I looked at it again. I was like, oh, wait, it says destroyed. It doesn't even say go to the graveyard. Yeah. So I told him, like, oh, yeah, like, I got to get my draw, by the way.
Yeah, this is broken.
Yeah. Another thing to remember is, like, Deck Devi is a popular side deck option against this deck. And if Vortex Trooper is destroyed in hand, you still draw it because it just has to be destroyed.
Oh, that's crazy. Now that I did not know. If this card is destroyed, it doesn't even say on the field or anything.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be on field. Just anywhere.
That is wild. If they deck dev you draw cards. Like that's insane, actually. So I didn't even think about that one too, but that's another thing. It's like Light and Darkness Dragon with that. Also, this play you did right here. This is one of the reasons why I don't like Wing Blast. There are benefits to Wing Blast for sure, but Raigeki Break is just it's the overall best of the discard traps, because you just played Future Fusion. He went Wing Blast and put it on top of your deck, and you just went fucking activate a draw spell and drew right back into Future Fusion. Like that is so ignorant.
Yep.
And then you're just
pretty much just said back to reality.
Yeah.
I think I remember I doing the same exact thing to someone else in my first Dragon Turbo experience.
You did. I remember that. Now you resolved all of the trade-ins. And now the crackback. Now it's just the crackback.
Yeah, the crackback's here. It's arrived. Oh, look at that. A dragon in your hand for Drago.
Oh god, not the Rejuve too.
And a Rejuve and a Reckless.
So I think
it's just too much.
I think this is what makes this deck so strong, is what just happened. I talk about this a lot, especially in our group chat, about how Dragon Turbo, yes, it can do this thing where it like draws the whole deck and it wins from just drawing its whole deck. But I think that the big strength of it is when you do these incremental super rejuvenations for pluses. Like this is going to be more than Pot of Greed. This is going to be, I think you discarded like 3 because you played trade in 3 times. So this is actually, it's going to be, I think, a draw 4, because you started off with like Cards of Consonance to redraw Future Fusion, then you played 3 trade-ins after that. So it's kind of scary that you can make a push this aggressive. Like these are some crazy ass monsters to just be like, I beat your whole field, you only have 3 cards, right? And then on top of that, I'm going to rejuve and draw like 4 cards. So even if you clear everything on my board, if I live, I'm just going to have more cards than you.
I'm gonna do it again.
Yes.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the crazier things about Dragon Turbo that I've kind of come across is when Frazier was kind of talking about the power of the deck is the small little tiny pushes that you can do that just like it's insane to have a 2800 monster, a 3000 attack monster on your field after hand dumping and then drawing back the 5 as soon as you're done like clearing up their field.
Yeah, like, it's really not fair. Okay, I was checking if he has Solemn, because if they start off cards of consonants, discard the redragon, I think that this is something that I would absolutely Solemn Judgment. So just double checking for that.
Alright. Redo for 1. My man Gilman, he's out here stay stabbing with the pitchfork. That pitchfork is sharp.
Okay. So it looks like we're going to game 3 here.
Yeah, you're getting beat up a bit. That's a hard guy to out.
That is a very hard. Now, if you draw, okay, he didn't even let you draw Blue Eyes.
What was I gonna draw?
I was gonna say if you drew Blue Eyes, that would have been so ridiculous. But he didn't even give you an opportunity. Like he shut me up. All right, so yeah,
He did shut you up quick.
Gilman got there. Sometimes Gilman ain't the worst, you know.
I think by this point I already won my round 1. I had a really fast 2-0, not much resistance.
Yes, you won so fast. I was like, damn, how are you doing already?
Well, unlike you guys, I have to play against a top 4 placer, so good luck.
Well, that's true.
I had to play against Template, who's won. Did he win an RBET? I think he did.
I think he did. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so I had to play against a champion round 1. How about that?
How about them?
Champion on champion crime. All right, so this game honestly looks like, this looks like non-game.com. Like this.
If we actually get an instant fusion, it's so Jover.
Yeah. Oh no.
Who needs instant fusion? All right.
Oh. Who needs instant fusion? I agree. Who does need instant fusion? He's asking for 2 discards. He's fucking dead, is what he is. There ain't no 2 discards.
Oh boy, that's and then I played them and I won 2-0. It was really bad. It was basically the same thing you did, like just invalidate, draw, and he did a play. I think the biggest thing that happened in our game was like he summoned an Absolute Zero and a Colossal Fighter in 1 turn and made it really hard for me to like, you know, that's for Dragon Turbo, that can be a really annoying field. And I literally just went summon Debris Dragon, bring back Vortex Trooper, make Black Rose, and then the game just ended. Like, it was like, all right, you're not coming back from that. Anyway,
all right, round 2.
So this is round 2. Scrub for Life. Interesting name there. Dragon on Dragons. So you open up Future Fusion.
Yep, this
now
is,
your hand
I
is
think...
not that crazy.
Yeah, we were actually talking about this when we were like play testing for the deck leading up to the Rivet.
Yeah.
We were talking about how every Future Fusion hand isn't as broken as it outwardly appears. Like these ones are just like, okay, you just get all the garnets out of the deck.
Yes.
But you're not really doing much after that.
Because the most broken Future Fusions are the ones that send Red Eyes Wyvern to the grave, like in other decks that play that card. Because they put pressure on you from turn 1, and it's like pluses too. It makes Future Fusion like a +2 or +3, depending on how many Red Eyes Wyverns and stuff you do. So you go like in phase, and I'm summoning 2 Red Eyes. I guess it's +2, but summoning 2 Red Eyes, and then the Red Eyes will then summon guys on your turn. It's a lot. Like they don't clear your field immediately, just lose the game. This game does not like it's going to be close. You have way too many cards.
Yeah, the turn after I guess didn't do it as a Future Fusion. I drew card stroke, so I was like, all right, it's over.
Yeah.
It's crazy too because he even goes like dust shoot on your push, but now it's just like you're rejuving for quadrillion.
Yeah.
And now your hand's even more broken before because now it has Heavy Storm +2 red MP. And there's just no resistance.
There's just nothing.
There's no fighting back.
Yep.
Oh man.
So just want to clarify, the deck I'm playing against is Flip Dragon, or popularized by Raldaman and James R. For anyone unaware.
Little hamster Ryko dragons.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the fair version of dragons. It's actually trying to duel.
Definitely fair.com.
Yeah. This is like, hey, I want to play. I want to duel. Dragon Turbo is like, I'm not trying to duel. Oh, that was really good.
Crows and dust shoots.
Yeah, and now you're going to get
A lot
dragons.
of denial, but then we just go Black Rose.
Yep. Back to the Stone Ages. Ancient Fairy Dragon. Okay.
Ooh, little go format tricks. Summon,
Yeah, look, we take our knowledge everywhere, all right? We take it
summon
from
and
everywhere.
cross out the face down.
That's right.
Oh man, your hand's getting a little scary now because now you have live trade-in and live cards of continents if you draw those.
Yeah, the thing is, the moment he lightning vortexes here, he opens the floodgates.
No, well now you just lose. Or
maybe.
not.
Maybe.
What's back there? What are we hiding back there? Anything good? Oh no, it can't all go through.
Yep, it all goes
It's
through.
all go through.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Judo Dragon for this.
Oh no.
Judo Dragon
Oh
for
no.
Yeah.
Not cucking the 5-headed.
Oh god.
How are you gonna
Gary,
cuckold
you're
his 5-headed like that?
disgusting. Your brain control. When you used to play brain control, this deck doesn't play brain control. Thank God. This deck plays future fusion now, which you have that shit all the time. It's like your brain control in this deck. But then also this is just gross. Like you drew the dragon so that your Drago cuts off his future fusion. That was just cruel. And this is why it's the year of the dragon. So all right.
Yep.
We're on to number 3. So we're gonna do rounds 3 and 4, and then that's it. We're gonna like cut it there.
Just
Not
not
gonna
that
go through
dragon.
everyone. Yeah. All right. So this is zombies. This deck is scary. This is actually one of the losses that I took in this tournament. Not to this player, but to a different zombie player.
Shout outs to Jake XL. Probably my biggest fan at this point.
Oh god.
And I had to play over round 3 at the last RBET, and he beat me. So I'm like, all right, I want this run back, especially since it's round 3. I don't know what it is. Why the same thing happens over and over.
It's actually crazy that you just kind of like ran into a torrential right there,
Yes.
and you guys are even in cards.
Yes. And he was Stratos for a +1 after, and his torrential was a goblin zombie. Like all of that happened, and you guys are just like even.
Yeah.
But
That's
imagine,
crazy.
okay, the crazy thing is, imagine if he had any other card but torrential right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been Doomsday.
Another thing to take away from even card advantage is it's not directly even because all those cards in his hand aren't usable immediately, whereas Dragon Turbo a lot of times they're all usable.
Yeah. Really, really crazy. And your hand is set up to do nasty things, so you're going to draw Trag immediately here, of course, because none of these monsters can beat it. And I just feel like now the game falls apart. I actually saw this replay, and you're going to kill him this turn, which I find to be ridiculous. I find it to be so insane that he has 4 monsters on the field, and he's at 8,000, and he basically loses on this turn.
Yep. Yeah. That's right.
Look at me. We're using Zombie
Like,
Master.
yeah.
It's mine now.
Yo, what the fuck is going on?
He lost 8,000 and 4 monsters, and he lost.
That was a good replay to show the power of Tragodia, by the way, because I
Yes.
think Tragodia, we were talking a lot when we were practicing the deck, me and Gary, and I think I was kind of telling Gary, whereas I think the biggest power of the Tragodia isn't necessarily even really protecting your life points. It's that it's actually one of the many mini game threats of the deck,
Yes.
where it's oh, if you have any monsters I can take level 8s, 4s, anything like that. You can just suddenly die a lot quicker because Dragodia taking a monster, tributing over with Red MD, turboing out dragons, just kill you all of a sudden. Also, look at this. This is so much damage.
Yeah. Luckily, there's no Rejuve involved, because that would have made this a non-game.
Yes, because even if you crack back and get through all this, which he really doesn't.
Yeah, this would have been an absolute non-game.
Yep.
Interesting. I might have bounced the Pyramid Turtle here.
Yeah. This replay, I wasn't too fond of it because I saw some things I should have mentally thought out better.
Okay, it looks like you're getting cooked anyway, though.
Yeah.
I think that this game, no matter what you did, you're just you're. You have a chance still. If you draw a oh no, you can't. All right, yeah. Game 3. So you have a chance, but you already used Lightning Vortex. There's a Stardust on the field. There's just no way. All right. Cards of Continents, Whitestone. We love it. All right. Not the craziest.
Yep. But we have
I love this
Blaze
line.
this turn.
Yeah.
I love this line. I think I messed up this line too.
You just discard all 3. Yeah, this is so dumb. This
Yeah,
is so dumb.
I was supposed to pitch to bring back debris, and then
Yeah,
pitch
and
debris.
then do that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you draw 1 more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get your debris to your hand. Yep.
Yeah. Prohibition Red Med. I have news for him.
There's this card that says Heavy Storm that destroys all spells and traps on the
Yeah.
field. So once Red Med's in the hand and he's ready to pop, so is that back row.
Oh yeah, this is where the whole like
this I had no idea about this ruling. I didn't.
yeah, there was this whole thing about like, can you use Wing Blast on a Heavy Storm? And if I activate Heavy Storm and you activate Wing Blast, like you can't return Heavy Storm to the top of the deck. You can't return a normal spell card to the top of the deck when it's activated. That's not a thing. So they were having a little like debate about that, but you know, that's it's not really.
Yep, it was cleared up. So thanks. Shout outs to the judges for that. And my
So is he allowed to activate it?
He was not allowed to activate it.
Yeah,
so
I don't think you can even.
So we just repaired the game state.
Yeah, I don't even think that you can do.
Okay,
like, let's
because
say
I was
you
confused about that. I was like, I don't think you can activate it then.
Yeah,
No.
let's say you wanted to. You're like, I want to pitch this malicious to get it in the graveyard and out of my hand when they play heavy. You can't do that. Is basically what they're saying.
Well, another reason why Raigeki Break is better.
Yeah, because you can Raigeki Break no matter what. That's a yeah, Stango, you're 100% right though.
That's true.
another reason. All right, this
Oh,
is.
guess what? You're dead.
Yep.
3, 2, 1 dead.
Well, we're
3,
just
2, 1 dead.
talking. And this is the last one we'll look at. But yeah, this deck is just, as you guys can see,
It's
if
just
you
wonderful to
didn't-
watch. Like the kills just come so seamless. Like because the thing that's really fucked up about Dragon Turbo is that there's 2 ways that it kills you. It kills you in the absurd combo-y ways with the insane hands, or it also just kills you in the dueling way where it's like it just grinds you out of cards with these slow mini pushes that just pretty much put you in a position where you can never come back if there's ever even a red med on the field. You're like,
Yeah.
damn, a red med's too much now at this point.
it just it trivializes a lot of the cards in the format.
Oh my god, look at him going off.
Yeah, this is too much.
So many draws.
I think that the days of not siding cards for Dragon Turbo are over. Like, there are a lot of people who just weren't siding for this deck for a very long time. I think those days are behind us. I think that you have to start siding for this deck. Like, take it seriously because it is it's definitely here to stay.
All right.
And-
So just want to point out, I've always sided for this deck.
Yeah, you've been siding for it forever. Shit, you main decked for it. You were main decking Deck Devastation Virus
Yep.
when you won RBET, so you're already ahead
I
of
was
the
like, I'm not trying to randomly lose to this kind of stuff.
Here we go with the Tragodia being ignorant. Like, you're not getting all that damage in, sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna stop right there.
And now the Crackback. And the Crackback is always severe.
Yep.
The Crackback is always severe.
Black Rose clear it up.
Oh, that's so...
Summon,
that's
summon,
just
summon.
So...
The fact that you're able to, it's just too much. The fact that you're able to continue beyond that.
Yeah, like, you're like, Black Rose clear everything, so now you're opened up, and you took some amount of damage this game. Like, some amount of damage was taken, so now you lose.
Yep.
Because you took some amount of damage. You and this fucking Raikou, by the way.
Right. I love Raikou. Raikou's my dog.
Literally. Oh, if this Raikou gets flipped right here.
Yeah, my testing with Ghost Rider's build, the Raikou overperforms a lot. Raikou has been fucking nice. Ooh, I like this play. Summon Debris, make Orient Dragon. Banish that Synchro.
I would have. That's what my aim was, but he stopped it in time, so I was like, damn.
Well, no, you
Yeah,
weren't
Orange
making
Dragon.
Orient Dragon, you were making Iron Chain Dragon.
No. It was definitely Orange Dragon. Come on.
Yeah, we're making Orient Dragon. That Synchro was getting banished,
It
Frazier.
was
Catch up,
definitely Orient
please.
Dragon. Yeah, how are you coming back in this game? You got decked heavy then.
Oh, because we're
Oh,
dodging them. We're dodging them, baby.
Why is this? Wait, why are you upping cards? You got decked heavy, bro. This is not fair.
Oh, yes. Burn spell. Yes.
Like, what is actually happening?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Tragodia? Yes, I'll bounce that.
I think it's so ridiculous too because now he can never drop the Tragodia again. So this is effectively a deck card too, like on top of everything. And this is what I mean by the incremental super rejuves. Like you just super rejuve for 3 casually and just refilled your hand. So now you just have so many more cards.
Think about literally any other deck that has like Brionic on the field with like a low amount of cards, and you're like, damn it, they really dropped Gores. I really didn't want to have to pitch cards to bounce this Gores or Tragodia like back to their hand. But this deck doesn't care. It's just like, oh, you dropped a guy when I have Rejuve in my hand? Of course I'll bounce that to your hand.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank God he drew that trap dash sheet. He's actually just like...
Yeah, he... Very good. And I just upstarted into it.
Yep. That's the dueling.
Raiko! My savior!
I mean, I think... Okay, yeah, Raiko actually was really good right there. Because... all little 1-stars, you can't really like do anything to kill him right there, and if you attack, he'll just drop Trag on like the first attack. So interesting though, if he dropped Trag, here's the thing. So dropping Trag doesn't exactly like it gets him another turn, but the Trag dies because he'll drop Trag with nothing in his hand. He'll take 1,000 because you will obviously attack with debris first, so he'll take the 1,000, drop it. He'll be at 400. Then the fucking Whitestone or Flamvel Guard will attack over Tragodia with zero stats. So it's just like you get another turn, but you're still down in cards, and ticking time bomb is still there. You know what I mean? Like this is just a ticking time bomb deck.
Yeah, and also he's top decking, right? So he can only realistically kill 1 monster. So if you just top a red med, that's also game.
And you're holding card destruction. You also have torrential. So like if it got real bad for some reason, you're just like, I'm not having any of it. But yeah, let's go back to the deck real quick. I think I felt fine playing it in terms of like obviously, right? We're not going to sit here and cap the deck. It bricks sometimes. There are some hands that are just fucking gross. When we were fish polling before the tournament started in solo mode, I was just like sending screenshots of some of my hands. And I was just like, some of these hands are just literally like my opponent could be playing Gadgets. They could be playing Archfiend Soldier Beatdown, Mad Dog of Darkness Beatdown, Hysteric Fairy Beatdown. And I would 100% lose to them, no question. But the hands where you don't draw like that, it's just like, yeah, my opponent could be Jeff Jones, Billy Bragg, Patrick Hoban, like you are getting destroyed this game no matter what. This is just like way too much advantage, way too much pressure, way too many draws, see my whole 40 cards in one turn type of stuff. So it has these very swingy things. The good players with this deck will be able to win the games when you don't draw your whole deck in one turn. Like you have to be able to navigate the games that are kind of like more grindy, because this deck does do a grind. And it's very subtle the way you have to do it. It's a seesaw of knowing when to go for it, when to not go for it, spotting your opponent's weakness and stuff like that. And would you agree, OG and Stango, with that?
Yeah, I totally agree. There was actually a point in one of Gary's last rounds where when we watched the replay, he was asking for input on a certain decision where he essentially got his opponent to Solemn, he mind controlled a set Raiko, got rid of the Mirror Force, and he had actually a play where he had a Flame Bell Guard in his hand, and a Red Med, and a Blue Eyes. And after mind controlling his set Raiko, he pops a Mirror Force, then he does card destruction, the guy Solemns, he's at 4,000. And reviewing the replay, Gary was just like, do you guys think I should have like gone for game, like try to attack here? Like I got rid of a Mirror Force and a Solemn set.
Right.
And I said yes, because it's like turn 1 of the duel. There's only so many cards back there that stops you, and it's like an interesting decision to do. Frazier is usually pretty conservative with his resources. He was like, I don't know if it's quite at that point yet. Like you could set your Raiko and then try to clear that last back row, then try to go for game and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think that and after reviewing the replay too, I think that the Raiko play was the right one, because the back row ended up being bottomless trap hole. So if you would have went Flamvel Guard, Banish, Summon Red Eyes, he would have bottomless. You would have bought out Blue Eyes, attack for 3,000, putting him at 1,000. But then that game ended up falling apart anyway, because I think that they ended up having like Faustine or some shit. So the crazy thing is like you can be patient with this deck in ways that most people just aren't aware of. I feel like people think that they have to do something. Like, oh, I kind of drew a mid hand, so let me start like pushing my opponent's shit in, or trying to anyway. And then you play into their back row, and you just kind of lose, because this deck is a combo-y deck, so all the cards need more than one card to function. Like Trade-In doesn't do anything, Cards of Constance doesn't do anything, Super Juve doesn't do anything, Whitestone doesn't do anything. No, Whitestone technically doesn't, but I meant Magical Stone. Both the stones are just kind of ass on their own. So all of the cards in the deck really need supplemental cards. Even Red Eyes, right? It's one of the best cards in the format, but you need other stuff to do it. So when you gas yourself out, you will just lose the game if you do not win the game, as weird as that is to say. But that's kind of how this deck works. It's a very unforgiving deck, kind of like Infernities, if you know what that is from later formats. It has that feel to it where like if you make a misplay, or if you you go for it and they just have the stop, you could just lose the game on the spot. You will not recover usually is how this deck works.
Yeah, this deck doesn't very rarely top deck on low resources and makes it back into a game.
Yeah.
It can top deck when it's in a bad spot and it has its whole hand, but
Yeah, now
if you're
it can if like, yes, I agree 100%. This deck does not top deck well unless your opponent is also not aggressing you. So if they're not doing anything, then you guys can just go draw pass, draw pass, draw pass, draw pass. And this favors the Dragon Turbo deck by a lot. Like you have inevitability for sure if you guys ever get into a draw pass scenario, because it's like, bro, I'm going to kill you eventually. Like you just drawing and like there's no amount of walling up you can do. I've been dupe locked. I've been like I remember somebody went flip hamster, get Raikou, and then they set another Raikou and they die like on the next turn. Like it didn't matter. Like you cannot wall up enough. Like there's not enough walling up that you can do. When his deck wants to get in, like it's coming in. It's like I'll knock all this shit over. Like I will just knock all of it over.
I'm coming in.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's really funny. But yeah, this is the year of the dragon. And we figured why not try out Dragon Turbo. So it was really fun. We learned a lot of stuff. I'll probably make a video just talking about like Dragon Turbo stuff, but for now I hope that you guys did enjoy this. Congrats OG on another top 8. You've been racking them up over the last year, so that's really good, catching up to your rival, a true hero. Well, I guess at this point he has to catch up to you because you have the win.
I do have the win.
You do have the win.
And everyone's been saying once you get one, the rest just keep falling.
You were almost the back-to-back champion today. You almost were the back-to-back champion. You only lost to the winner. He had his hockey today. His Conqueror's hockey was just a little stronger. But, you know, I think at this point, because you're consistently topping these tournaments, like it's only a matter of time until you win another one. So you have the potential to end up being the Edison player with the most, you know, the most wins or tops or some shit if you just keep going in this trajectory. So really impressive stuff. Congrats. And yeah, guys, like, comment, subscribe, all that chilling stuff that people say at the end of the video. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.